Let's talk about this with Colin Campbell, our correspondent, who joins us from Washington, D.C. Well, Colin, tell us how bad this is, and tell us if there's going to be any relief in sight, and how long this is going to, I guess, hang in the skies, so to speak, over the different regions that it's affected in the States.
Yeah, this smoke has come from the northeastern part of the United States and has trickled down into some parts of the mid-Atlantic region, like right here in Washington, D.C. It's not a thick haze, as you can see behind me. It's still pretty clear, a bit cloudy, but some of that haze is coming from Canada, from the Nova Scotia region of Canada. They have it in much worse in cities like New York, Boston, where they have a much thicker haze and a lot of the wind hasn't had a chance to dissipate some of the smoke coming from Canada. But already we're receiving weather alerts, air quality alerts for us to be mindful of when we go outside, if we need special masks or if we need to take our allergy medication, things like that. There are health experts who are saying that we need to be mindful when we go outdoors because of the effects of the haze coming from Canada. There haven't been a lot of complaints into medical centers, at least here in DC, but perhaps in the northern parts of the United States where the smoke is a lot thicker, you'll hear more health complaints, and those will come in throughout the day. We'll hear more about how people are really being adversely affected by this smoke as we go through the day. It's pretty much, we're embarking upon summer in a couple weeks here, so there has been a lot of moderate, mild weather here. Almost perfect temperatures. Like I said, as you can see behind me, it's pretty sunny here, so there's no rain or really heavy winds to dissipate some of that smoke, but there are some light winds, and it's very sunny here, so you can definitely feel some of the effects. It's just not as strong as in the northern parts of the country.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of factors that affect when this is going to go away, but I think it really depends on the source, which is in Canada. But I think they're overwhelmed there in terms of just how many hectares are engulfed in these flames, and it's something that's out of their control. Any idea on that end how they're going to handle this, or to what degree can they handle it, so as to for the U.S. not to, I guess, keep receiving the smoke, or for the smoke to keep coming over to the U.S.?
Well, it'll definitely take some time. This is a collaborative effort that Canadian authorities are using to try to put out some of these fires, but they're also, the weather will cooperate, and perhaps it will rain and shed some precipitation in that area. But it isn't until Canada can really control what's happening in their region that the United States won't feel the effects. But many Americans here are just happy that they're only feeling the effects of the smoke and not really the intense effects of wildfires that are rampant throughout parts of Canada that are causing this smoke. We experience a lot of these wildfires more on the western part of our country, like in states like California, Oregon, Washington, especially in the upper northern western part of the United States. We feel and get a lot of these wildfires because the air is drier over there, the conditions are drier, the greenery is not as ubiquitous as it is here on the east side. So we're not really familiar with forest fires and wildfires here on the eastern part of the United States like we are on the western part. But of course, that's a different climate in Canada. So it really isn't until they get it under control that the U.S. will, at least this area of the U.S., will feel less of the effects of that smoke. But again, we would prefer the smoke here rather than rampant wildfires like our compatriots over on the west side of the country.
Thank you very much for that. Washington, D.C., Colin Campbell. Thank you.